from Bass Hole Studios in Hollywood, California.
Yo, what time is it?
You're listening to I'm a Bass Hole with Doug Bass. We've all been one.
He's an asshole.
So let's laugh about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Bass Hole Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We got a great show for you today. Please subscribe on Instagram at Bass Hole Show. Follow the YouTube channel where all the video, full experiences there. Subscribe, download, do all that good stuff. You know what you're doing. Text your friends about the show. Do that, all right? We got a great show today. Comedian and actress Jen Liv is here in the studio. We're going to jump into... How are you?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm good. Just living the dream.
Living the dream?
Working 2 jobs.
Oh my God,
auditioning.
two jobs?
I'm over it.
Where do you work?
So
I don't know if you want to say it, but
I think it's okay.
okay.
I work at Osteria Mozza.
Oh, do you?
Serving. Yeah.
Oh, with Alyssa?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Doing the fine dining
I
thing.
love that place.
So I'm doing that, and it's great, and it's extremely demanding, like mentally and physically, but you know, we do that.
Yeah.
And I'm also a concierge at Four Seasons.
That's right. I remember you telling me that.
Just
I think.
like
Did you recently start that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this year, like early this year. In a wild twist of fate, I was like, oh, it'll give me more time for comedy. To like work days, and then they go, our day shifts start at 7 a.m. And I was like, 7?
Maybe it was you who I talked to. I don't remember. Because I worked at a hotel for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
I worked at the Pendry.
Oh, yeah.
Up on Sunset in a restaurant there. And then the restaurant closed, so I don't work there anymore. But
You're like, bye.
I know, but I liked working in a hotel. I don't know. I like
it's nice. It's like they're so warm. The culture's so good.
Yeah, I mean, plus like they, it was like cheap rooms you could get, like all these different places and stuff like that. They feed you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I work at the Improv as a bartender, but I don't know. I like part of the hospitality industry, I'd say, but I miss working at like a nice restaurant, like an osteria or something like that, because I do like the like culinary kind of stuff. I find that interesting, and like craft cocktails or wine knowledge, all that stuff. So I do miss that a little bit because
you don't get a lot of that at the Improv?
No.
People aren't like, can you give me something like
exactly.
looking for like a falangina. Do you have any of that?
Yeah, like our wine selection is, it is what it is.
I asked Brian for like a dry white. He's just like, just drink this. It just doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and then half the times like I'll pour a glass. I don't know how long the bottle's been open. It's
just not the place to order.
No,
wine.
Don't get wine.
Just stick to bourbon.
Beer and bourbon,
and
all that stuff.
Way.
Yeah, but no, that's cool though. So they do like working at the Four Seasons. That's pretty swanky. Yeah.
I'm like have like a deep sense of pride. I'm like I'm a concierge.
You're a concierge, so that means you have to know a lot about like the city, the town and stuff, right? I've applied a couple places like that because I've lived here like 22 years, so I'm like I know everything about this area.
Yeah, totally.
But so like you like make recommendations, reservations, like all that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly. And when I was a concierge in New York City for 5 years.
Right.
So coming from New York, when I moved here, I didn't know anything about
LA.
Right.
You got to like relearn.
So I was like, I'm not even going to apply. I'd feel like I'd just be like, I don't know, take a road somewhere and there's a lot of avocado on the way.
take Fountain. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know like how to say Cahuenga. I'd be Cahuenga. I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? That's why I got back into fine dining.
Right.
And I wound up working with Nancy Silverton, the whole Mozza experience. And then just recently I was like, oh, you should go to this speakeasy bar. Or guests like, oh, where should we go after this and this and that. And I started like rattling off all these recommendations. And someone's like, you're really good at that. And I was like, yeah, I used to do it quite a bit. And then I just sort of like dipped my toe back into the concierge world.
Yeah.
And I'm tired.
You're tired.
I'm tired because instead of like it opening up more time, it's like now I'm just like sleeping less.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, when I worked at Pendry, I was doing, I worked like 7 days a week for like a year and a half, and it was like,
what?
Yeah, it was insane.
7?
Yeah, because I have my dog business. I was working for like a celebrity at the time, and then I had the Improv, and then the Pendry. So I don't know how I did it, but it was like I was like, oh my God, all these opportunities are given to me right now, so I should do them all for some reason. And I was, and I did it, and I was like, but then I was like, I was still producing my show and stuff like that, doing comedy spots here and there. But I was like,
You had no time off.
there was no time off. It was like there was always every day there was some work aspect of whatever. There was no chill day.
Oh my
for a
God.
year and a half.
How many days were you at the Pendry per week?
Like
3?
Like 3. They wanted like 3, and yeah, I would do like mostly because I wasn't bartending at improv yet. I was doing sound there still, so I was like, I got back into bartending because I hadn't done it since I was like 25 or something, and then my friend worked at Pendry, and like I don't know, I was going through a divorce, and I was like I kind of want like. I just had the dog business. I was just with dogs all day. So I was like, and then the improv, and I was like, yeah, maybe I can get back at the bar. And I need to just get back into a skill of some. I don't know. Like I was like, let me do something social. So I like relearned bartending at this place, but it was like a good place to jump back in because it was all craft cocktails and all that stuff. So I got back into it somehow. But but yeah, I was like, I can't 7 days a week. That was insane.
7 days?
Yeah.
Dog, that's.
I know.
Like now
I was avoiding my real life.
Yeah. Relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know this. I was married years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And when I got divorced, I was working like 70 hours a week.
Yeah. Well, they say like when you go through, like when I went through my separation, it was like, I was dealing with it, but like at the same time, I didn't want to deal with it. So like they're like, just throw yourself into work or distractions or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I did. I was like, yeah, I'll just work. And
You're like
make
7 days a week
money.
sounds great.
That sounds great because I don't want to like deal with my feelings and my life and
you
really
don't have to
take
deal
care
with
of
anything.
this.
Just work.
No,
and then
exactly.
you're productive because you're working.
You're productive.
And you don't have to spiral out with anxiety because you're like, I'm working. Everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not fine, really. You're like, you're not taking care of yourself
You're
properly.
just like crumbling internally.
Right.
Yeah.
So then then eventually catches up to you, and then you're just like, all right, let me check myself.
Yeah. I'd like look up at myself at the screen. Hi.
A lot of
how
people do
are you?
that. I know.
Yeah, my shoulder just like went out this week just
really?
for no reason. I think shoulder
shit.
was like, please
Yeah.
stop.
Calm down a little
And
bit.
the doctor's like, girl, it's that repetitive motion from working a lot.
Well, that's the other thing with service. Yeah, it's like you use your body a lot. Like, my whole arm was hurting for a while.
Yeah, like this
bartending.
arm is just like, oh.
Yeah.
I like actually collapsed at work once, like 2
Oh,
years
no.
ago. I was just like standing there, and I don't know, my current guy, Nick, my fiance, he said, oh, it's because you were juicing. You weren't getting enough calories. That's his take.
You were so you were like eating like solid foods. Just
I mean,
juicing.
I was doing like a juice or two a day plus like a meal.
Right.
But he was like convinced I wasn't getting enough calories. He's like, it's the juicing. And I'm like, no, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, you seem pretty healthy. So is that something like you do? You do like a juice cleanse every now and then?
Yeah, I try to juice every day.
Every day.
If I can.
Yeah.
I've gotten it down
Do
to
you
a
have a
science.
juicer?
Yes.
So you do all that, right?
I'll put the link below, guys. It's going to be, I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
you do it. I mean, why not?
No, I love juicing. And
it's a lot of work though, no, right?
It is, but I've like kind of streamlined it to where I can get it done in like 25 minutes.
That's pretty good. I think when I was married, we had a juicer, I think. And I think it was used like once or twice, and then it just went in a closet somewhere.
It's like a real commitment. You're like, that goes under there.
Well, then you got to buy so much like vegetables and fruit, right? Like
So
to
what
make
I
like
do,
a little bit of juice.
I go to Trader Joe's. I buy like 40 pounds of apples. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah,
It
almost,
feels
right?
like that.
Because I
Like-
remember I got carrot juice once, and they went through like 15 carrots, and I got like a shot of juice, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I was like,
juicing carrots is like there's no winning on that because it's literally there's no water in carrots.
Yeah.
Carrots are like hard, so you'll just get like.
So
yeah,
it's like,
a
where do you
shot.
put all this stuff? You know, it's like, I mean, I
for
don't know.
me, I've kind of like slimmed it down to like, okay, if I'm at Trader Joe's for the week, I'll be like, let's get 4 or 5 things of celery,
All right.
5 apples, 5 lemons, a thing of ginger. You know, like
Yeah.
celery.
And how
5
much
of
juice
that.
would that make? Do you make it in bulk for like the
daily-
week?
No,
you got it's got to be fresh, right?
Yeah,
Every morning.
I used to try to freeze it, and then
not the same, though, right?
one of them exploded, and I was like, man.
Yeah.
One time I made a juice, and I was so excited about it. Put it in its little glass, and earlier it was like 45 minutes, maybe an hour before I got like streamlined.
Yeah.
And it's like this labor of love, and you're like, oh, my juice. But I was running late for work because of the juicing.
Yeah.
Then I get in the shower, and I'm like, you ever heard of like a shower beer? You got a beer in the shower.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
best.
beer or wine or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Get like a drink in the shower. So
Yep.
I was like, I'm gonna bring my juice in the shower. I'll be
Drink
productive.
it in the shower,
It'll
yeah.
be great. I'll be getting ready
Multitask.
for work and drinking my juice. And I get in there and I immediately smash it on the ground.
Oh my god.
And I'm naked and I'm just like, like because I can't.
And you put so much work into the
And
juice.
I put,
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
there's like $50 I'll never get back, and then so much work,
Oh, man.
and the grocery shopping, then like the juicing itself, and then I'm
Yeah.
like naked. It's not like I can just slip on some shoes and clean up the glass.
And it's not like, when you drop like a fry or something, like,
you're like, I'll get
2-second rule or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like
yeah,
my dreams. Like
straw and slurp it up off the floor. You
my
can't do
dream,
that.
but there's just like glass shattered in. I would have sipped it off the floor. I was so upset. And so then it's just like, trying to like lean all the way to the cabinet.
Right.
You're like doing like a bridge pose,
Oh my God.
cleaning up a smashed mess of my dreams. But
Yeah, I just I get juice from the place up the street sometimes.
Creation.
I've been there, but like Beverly Hills Juice, I think it's called. It's on Beverly. But it's fucking expensive. It's like I think I spent like $15 for a thing of juice.
That I know.
It's like it's a meal. I mean, I guess it's a meal, but then I'm still
Kind
hungry.
of is. Yeah, like you drink the juice and you're like, okay, I got a lot of vitamins.
Yeah.
And
$18 for like a shot or something. Like I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
I mean,
come on, guys.
this city is expensive as it is, but
if I was rich, I would just be like at Creation all the time. I'd be like, hey guys.
right.
it's
But I get it
me.
because they put in so much work into making this stuff.
Yeah.
And they have to have it every day fresh. They can't really.
It's
I mean,
fresh.
they bottle it, so I mean, maybe it lasts a day or two.
Some of
I
it's
don't know.
bottled.
Yeah.
I would give it a couple days. I've done a couple cleanses through Creation where they're like, just drink these, and then here's these salads.
Now, what's your go-to like concoction? Is it like?
go to daily?
yeah.
Celery,
Celery,
cucumber, ginger,
ginger's key.
and lemon, and one green apple.
Okay.
Granny Smith.
All right, Granny Smith. Those are good.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't put like the cayenne pepper in it and do all that. Isn't that like
I did
supposed to
do
be a
that
cleanser
once.
or something? Like
I
that?
did do that once. I'm not good at fasting.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare, actually.
I tried fasting once, and I realized if I was going to commit to doing this for like 2 days or whatever, I can't go out in public. I just have to like I don't want to be around anyone.
You don't want to be around anyone, and
No.
you don't want to be working 7 days.
You don't
want to
work. Yeah, it's like
you can't.
you just take off and do it.
Just take off.
But
Just
then
be
I'm
chill.
home, and it's like, what am I gonna do?
And you're
It's like, and then if you work out, it's like you're hungry. And
Yeah.
It's like forget it.
Yeah, I tried to do it before I got married the first time, and it was so horrible. I think I lasted like 30 hours.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, let's go to Costco and look at stuff for the wedding.
No.
And there's like hot
You're hungry,
dogs,
yeah.
and pizza. Everyone's like having their
You can't go to the
$1.50
food store,
hot dogs.
Yeah, like hungry. Like,
And I was just like,
I eat before I go to Costco. Like I will.
wise.
Yeah, because if you go into any of these stores and you're starving, you end up with a bag of stuff that you really didn't want or need.
Well, you're like, I guess I need this 15-pound bag of
Right.
keto granola. I should.
Do you go to Costco? Yeah,
I used to.
Used to.
I'm a former member.
I'm a member currently. I try to go like once every 2 months.
I can never leave Costco unless I spend like a $500.
Yeah, no, it's always $500.
It's always
especially if it's like
$500.
every 2 months or
like
whatever.
maybe 1,000. Like, and you're not even buying. You
I-
get out
I'm
of there
ju-
and you're like, I did get an iPhone though.
Yeah. I've gone in there and I'm like, first of all, I'm like kind of jealous of the people that like live next to the Costco. I go to like the Marina Del Rey one or whatever,
Oh,
like
okay.
Culver City.
Oh, nice.
But I like the people that live like right there, like that could be one of their grocery stores or whatever. Like I'm a little jealous of that because I feel like I would go in there. Like I like the rotisserie chickens
Yeah.
or like the lunch meat.
It's
like
very, very
it's like
affordable.
yeah. So like I would go in there like every 2 days and buy like one of those chickens, and that's like just go in and get that and like run out.
Meal prep.
And they have like the 10 items less like checkout or whatever. So like I would do that if I lived next to Costco at $5 a chicken or whatever.
That's crazy.
I know,
I forgot
I
how
know.
cheap that is. You know, even Gelson's has rotisserie chicken for maybe
But they're like
$12.
Yeah, they're 12 or something.
But they're not
that.
like 50.
No,
I
no,
feel like
no.
Gelson's, everything else, I'm like, how much could this strawberry really be?
Oh, it's expensive.
And it's
yeah.
just like 30
or
bucks.
Erewhon. Have you gone out to Erewhon?
Oh, the worst.
Yeah.
Erewhon's like, cool, would you like this sandwich for $25?
Right.
And it's like a small half of a sandwich.
It's
I'm like,
ridiculous.
is this a joke?
I don't know how people do a full shopping order there. Like
I think to me that's success.
yeah,
Just
no,
feeling
it
like
is.
you have
It is,
so
yeah.
much money that you're like,
Yeah.
it's okay to spend $1,000
Right.
in Erewhon on a few items.
Yeah, and like Costco, like the electronics or whatever, like I will go in there sometimes being like, all right, we're not getting any food. We're gonna get like things like towels or like I'll look at like an iPad or I don't know, like something like that. Like no food though. You gotta like pick one or the other.
Definitely not.
Because then when you combine them, then it's like
it's so
it's $2,000.
Because then
yeah.
you're like,
I
I could
know.
get 200 dish pods. This is
Yeah.
actually a good deal.
It's I do you on YouTube a lot. Like I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a channel I subscribe to. It's the Deal Guy. Have you ever seen that guy? Oh, this guy is.
Is he the best?
He is good. Maybe I can pull it.
I'm
up
like,
here.
send me the link.
No, he is. It's. I don't. He's like a little. He's a little creepy, but let me see. Deal guy. He goes to Costco, and he does. Okay, here he is. I'm gonna just play like a clip of this because he is. This is a gem. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get to this.
So the top 10 things you should be buying at Costco this October 2024. And there's a huge selection of brand new deals for every corner of your home. We begin with something I've never seen at Costco before. A 5-piece Rubbermaid power scrub kit at $20. That's perfect for all those hard to reach places around your home. You get the scrubber and multiple brush heads, which are ideal for tack card deal if you are a fan of Subway. You can now buy $100 worth of Subway gift cards for $80. And considering that you can enjoy these
anyway, he literally he covers the whole store every month.
So funny.
Every month, and like when he does the deal, he's like number 5. He's like. And
I bet this guy is making millions on his channel.
Oh, he is. He's got 2.66 million subscribers. He's making a killing doing it. So like he does a production out of this thing. But I end up watching the whole. It's a 20-minute video.
And you watch? Do you watch it on 2 times speed?
No, I should. Yeah, I didn't even. I forget that I can do that sometimes. But it's like,
one time is good.
I end up watching it, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I didn't like. And then I'll go in there and be like, where is that thing that the guy was? I'll like watch the video, like try to find it. But he buys a lot of this stuff. Like you see him like eating like this log of dessert and like all this shit. And I'm like, I really want to ask him. I'm like, maybe I'll see if I can get him on the show. I don't know, but like,
get him on the show.
I'm like, do you buy all the desserts and all the foods and like try them? Because then he says like they're really good. Like you should get, And I'm like, how much are you spending there?
You and how many people are eating these desserts?
I never get desserts there. Like unless it's like a holiday, maybe I'll get a pie or something.
No, and the pies are like 18 inches.
I know.
24 like these pies are like for 10 people.
I know, but this guy is good, man. It makes me want to go there and get stuff. It's insane. I'm very curious to see how much he spends there. I don't know.
I bet he just takes money from his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
he's like these are pennies.
Well, I think he's making a good chunk of change, and he goes and spends a bunch of it there. Yeah. And he probably throws half that shit out, like half the desserts.
Totally. We need to wait outside his door. Like, are you done with that log of dessert?
The cheese log and fudge, whatever. Yeah. Oh my God.
One time I went into a bowling alley and they carded me, and I literally pulled out my Costco card, and I was like, oh, if I'm old enough to have one of these, I could probably drink though, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah. I don't know how old you got to be to join Costco. That's a good question.
I don't know if there's like an age range, but I was like, just look at me. Like, I'm definitely not under 21.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sneak in. Yeah, exactly. That's funny though. All right. So where are you originally from?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. All right.
Southwest girl.
I've been there twice.
Doing shows?
No. I directed like a couple little short film things there.
That's fun.
Yeah, but it was like for like an independent kind of thing. My ex-brother-in-law, we had this business where for my wedding I made like a fake movie trailer for like couples that fall in love, like romantic comedy style. So like, and then we had this idea of like, what if we produce those for like real couples that are like not actors, nothing. So like we went and shot one there in Albuquerque for this couple.
How fun.
And yeah, they weren't actors or whatever, but we go there for the weekend. We shoot them. We like write up a little script, like a romantic comedy thing.
Cute.
It took place at a bowling alley. That's where they met in real life, whatever. We reenacted stuff. We got their friends involved, got them to act and all this stuff. And then we would cut it together like a movie trailer.
That's cute.
For their wedding. Then they show it at their wedding.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
So we did that for a while. So I shot one of those there, and that was a fun weekend of shooting there in Albuquerque. And then we went back to their wedding where they like premiered it and stuff. So that's my Albuquerque.
Oh my
visit.
God, that's so fun.
Yeah, it's a cool city. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, like the mountains and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of filming going on there now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. My parents basically, I grew up there, and then once I moved to LA, they left.
Oh, really?
Once I was close by, because I was in New York for like 13 years. And then when I moved to LA, because I was like, oh, I'll be closer to Albuquerque, and nope, they left.
Where did they go? They came here.
They're in Kansas City now.
Kansas City. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So they're That's where my mom grew up.
So you don't go back to Albuquerque anymore, really?
I haven't been back in 7 years.
Yeah. You don't. Do you have friends that are there?
I
still
do. I have pals there, and I'm always like, I'm gonna go.
Right. It would be interesting to do some comedy shows there. Maybe.
Yeah. I've kind of. Yeah. I know that there's like clubs there, and probably just do like a little mini tour and
that'd be fun. Yeah.
Get some Albuquerque time in.
I mean, yeah, you should. Because your comedy as a comedian, it's like it's so different and unique and fun. You play the accordion, which when I first saw you do that, I was like, this is amazing. Like,
what's happening?
I was like, what is happening? The accordion is not an instrument you see normally ever anywhere.
True.
So how did you start playing the accordion? Like, what made you? And you play 16 instruments,
yes,
right? So
you're good.
So how do you start with the accordion? Is that the first one you pick up? How does it work?
So growing up, my mom actually taught me piano. So I learned piano from a very young age. Then I, like a nerd, started playing oboe, which I loved, which my mom played. I got teased mercilessly. It was great. I was a band nerd. And then in marching band, I started playing flute because they're like, you can't march an oboe. And I'm like, why? They're like, because the reed will go through the roof of your mouth.
Is that what they said?
Kill you. Yeah.
Really?
Like you're not allowed to march like a double reed on the field. So I was a flute player. I picked up flute like the summer before my freshman year. And then that was it. I played those 3 instruments. I kind of moved more into acting and, musicals and theater. And there was this like phenomenon that was going on in New York in like the early, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 was like, we need actors to play instruments. We need actors to like basically replace the orchestra. And so I played my 3 and I was getting like a little bit of traction. And then it kind of coincided with the time where I stopped waiting tables and I started teaching music.
Wow,
at a music school where they were like, you have to play 3 instruments and sing professionally and be good with like kids under age 5.
Yeah.
I was like, me? They made me audition and like play music for a baby, like entertain a live 1-year-old kid.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hard.
So I like play the piano and sing and do puppets and hang with the kid. And the kid was happy. So they hired me and they taught me 13 instruments in 1 summer.
Wow.
I learned everything. I learned trombone. I learned accordion. I learned guitar. I learned ukulele. I learned like everything.
That's awesome.
All the saxophones. I'm not saying I'm like great.
Right, but at least you've dabbled and you know how to play them. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit in all of those.
I'm jealous of that experience. I don't play any instruments, but I have a keyboard and I want to try to like get into piano at some point.
Yeah.
That's like on my list of things that I got to do. But that's pretty cool. And the accordion, so you own an accordion.
I own an accordion.
What else do you own? Like
a flute.
A flute?
I have like 2 flutes, an accordion, a clarinet. I have a big, like a keyboard and a ukulele and a guitar.
Okay.
And then my fiance has a saxophone. And one day he just like acquired it at some time. And he's like, hey, do you play sax? And I'm like, kind of, like sixth grade level. He goes, I have this bit and I think you'd be great on it. Because he plays an electronic saxophone in his act.
What is that?
It's called the Iwi. It's an electronic.
I didn't even know that existed.
It's so cool.
Iwi.
You can program the keys to sound like different things. So you can program it to sound like a saxophone. You can program it to sound like anything, like a slap bass.
Oh, really?
Or whatever. You just plug it in with like a MIDI controller.
How long has that been around?
A while.
Really?
Because he's been doing this bit for a while. So we have a whole bit now.
Is he a comedian or just?
Yes.
Oh, he is. Okay, all right.
So he does comedy and music, and he's a composer.
Oh, cool. All right.
And he just filmed his special at the Punchline, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So I got to open for him, which was really fun.
That's fun, yeah.
And he's been at the Punchline doing stuff there for years. So it was fun to see him get to do his special. And then he's like, emailed the club like, hey, can comedian Jen Liv open for me? And he didn't just like say like, it's my girlfriend. He was just like, can she open? And they said, they looked at my stuff and they're like, yeah. So I was like, I get to go on I get to open at the Punchline. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was really special.
And like you both do like musical comedy, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I mean, perfect opener for him then, I guess,
Yeah,
you know?
it was. And it's like, whenever we first met, I was like, oh, a comedian. I'm like, this isn't going to work out.
Well, they always say like comedians shouldn't date other comedians, right?
Exactly.
But then you fall into that trap. And I mean, obviously it's working for you guys.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. We got enough things that are, we have like the comedy thing in common in a good way.
Good.
And, he also composes and does music and
Right.
stuff. So it's like, okay.
It seems perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good
you
fit.
both are like, musical comedic geniuses here. And it's, have you guys ever thought of like doing like your act together with all the music and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
we have just like the one saxophone bit, which like
Right.
slays. Everybody loves it. And it's usually like if we're on a set together, like at Sketchfest or something, I'll do like, he'll do a set usually they put me up first.
Right.
I play accordion, I sing, I do my thing. And then I'm like hiding in the back of the house. He does like 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And at the very end, he brings out his electronic saxophone. And then I like surprisingly come through the back of the house.
Oh, all right. Nice.
And so people are usually like, and then later they're like, you're together. Like way later, they'll find out.
That's great.
I'll be like, oh, and yeah, now we're getting married. They're like, what?
Yeah. You're not married yet, right?
No, we're getting married next summer.
Next summer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on that.
Third time's the charm.
This is your third marriage?
Third engagement.
A third engagement. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But
All right.
he's third and final because I was married once and then I was engaged to someone else a few years ago during COVID. COVID was like happiness. Let me squash that out.
Yeah.
But it was for the best.
Well, COVID changed relationships for everyone, I feel like.
It either made you super strong or just wiped it out.
I know so many people that like they were either alone and miserable or whatever, and then or they ended up. I know a lot of people that like started dating like right before COVID, and then they were like, you know, they were with each other, so it just worked, and then now they're married, and some have kids and everything.
Isn't that like a wild way to
and
start?
And then like the other way was like you know, divorce or something. Like, and that's the way I went, which was, you know, the blessing in disguise at the end of the day. But it was like it really changed a lot of things for people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was so wild. It was just like crushing, and then it's like I look back and I'm like, I should be doing more, and I'm like, but like for the last 5 years going on, it's just been like still we're dealing with the fallout of COVID.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a big adjustment for everyone, you know.
But we're doing it.
We're doing it.
it.
The accordion's awesome. My uncle played accordion. I remember like the first time I knew what an accordion was. My uncle like pulled out the accordion like at a family hangout or something. And I was like, "What is this?" And like he just started like playing around and like messing around with it or whatever. But yeah, it's have you ever played it on like? Have you ever done like music on the street in New York or anything like that?
Yeah.
How does that? Was that fun? I see, that's a dream of mine too. It's just like go out there and play something like that. Like that's awesome.
I'm such a wild person. I was just sort of like, okay, I was on my way to a show that I was playing like for like a musical, and I had my accordion with me, and I was like, I'm just gonna like busk on the platform for a while, like at the F train. And so I just like opened up my case to like maybe invite some change, and I'm just like playing my 5 songs I know. I'm like playing Toxic, I'm playing Bad Romance, or, you know, Jackson 5 or something, just like do singing. Some friend of mine like recognized me from like a train going the other way, like made eye contact, and I'm like, street musician. Anyways, bye. I did like 15 minutes, made tipped. No money.
No money? Oh man. See, if I saw someone with accordion, I mean, that's worth $5 at least.
And then recently I did a show in the East Village, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna busk outside and try to get people into the club. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So I'm on St. Mark's Place, and I'm just like either improvising songs, and I'm like, come on into the show, like comedy.
Right.
And people are just like, they're like, they could care.
They're harsh, right?
Less. Yeah. New York, they just are like,
I mean,
nah.
I think the beautiful thing about like playing an instrument or 16 like you, it's like, I don't know, like I'll have times where like, you know, you're just alone or whatever, and it's like you can take that and be like, you know what, I'm gonna take my oboe or whatever instrument and just go out on the street and play. And like it's for me, you know, it's for me practicing or doing a song. But then like if people gather and enjoy it, that's great. You know, it's beautiful. And like, you know, you can't do that with like comedy. You can't go out there and just do it, you know.
I'm gonna come busk at your house next time.
I mean, why not?
Just with like a lone oboe.
Well, I remember because I was in Italy over the summer, and I was in what's the town? What is it? Tuscany area. And there was I was there all day, and Russell Crowe, the actor, was performing there in the village. His band, I guess. He's like big in Italy, I guess, as a singer or whatever. So I'm like, I gotta see the beginning of this or whatever. So I stayed and watched. He came out and did some songs or whatever. It's packed. It's packed.
Of course.
And I'm like, he's not good. This is not good. I was like, this is like, like I was like, everyone's here just to see Russell Crowe, and like, you know, the band's good, but like, you know, him singing, I'm like, oh, what the fuck are you doing?
You're like,
you know? And then like I stayed for like maybe 20 minutes, and then I left, and then I walked through like the village or whatever, and there's no one there in front of this like church. The lighting is like all in the church. It's quiet, and then there's one guy sitting on a box playing cello, and it's beautiful. And like, I'm like, and no one's watching him. Like there's maybe me and one other person. And I'm like, this guy's amazing, you know? And then you have all these other assholes in the packed Russell Crowe concert. And I'm just like,
come on.
I'm like, look at that. I'm like, you got, you know, someone who's very talented here. No one's watching them at all. And then you got a talented actor, but like, it's like, I don't know. Come on. You know, it's just, it was like sad. I was like, oh man.
No. I will say, we went to Italy like a year and a half ago. And when I saw a guy playing accordion on the street, I heard accordion from like around the corner, and I get so hype when I hear accordion. I'm like,
yeah, you just hear it, and you can tell.
I hear it, and I'm like, oh my god, that sounds live. Oh my god, someone's playing accordion.
Right. Let me find that person. We can be friends.
And it's just like this old dude just killing it on accordion. Like most people are walking by, but I'm like rapt with attention. I'm like, just nerding out so hard.
I mean, because you play Toxic on there.
Yeah.
Britney Spears is Toxic, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's like one I've been playing for like years.
Yeah, but that's so original. Like, you know, there's like every time I hear that song now, I do think of you doing that. Yes. I'm like,
it's working. It's just like a really slow marketing.
Oh my god, you got to get it. You got to get it to her somehow.
I got to be like, Britney, please.
Yeah, right. Like reboot it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, with accordion, definitely.
Yeah, totally. Now, you as an actress as well, you lived in New York for a while. You've done plays off-Broadway, is that correct? Yeah, musical comedy, musical theater.
Musical theater.
You're a big musical theater person?
You know, I went to school for acting, and then they were like, well, if you want to work, you got to sing. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just learn to sing.
You're listening to comedian Jen Liv on the Bass Hole Podcast. I'm just taking a moment here, a little break, to talk about our great sponsor, BlueChew. That's right, BlueChew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost, and it comes in a chewable form, of course. The best part about it, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Christmas is coming up. The holidays are here. I think it's the perfect stocking stuffer for your man this year. You know, have a little boost in the holiday spirit. Give him a little Yule log. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It'll get the confidence up. There's nothing sexier than confidence, and BlueChew can help give you the confidence where it counts. So, you know, spread a little Christmas cheer this holiday season and get some BlueChew going on for the Christmas spirit. We've got a special deal for our audience. You can try BlueChew free when you pay just $5 shipping at checkout. You visit BlueChew.com. That's right, BlueChew.com, and use the promo code BASSHOLE at checkout, and you'll get your first month free. You're just going to pay the $5 shipping. That's it. So visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring Bass Hole with Doug Bass. Get the BlueChew on. Promo code BASSHOLE for Christmas this year. All right, now back to the interview. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I did like musicals and I did a one-woman show actually called Oh, Bo You Didn't, which was so stupid, but I was proud of that.
I like that.
It was fun.
Yeah. I played, so you were a marching band, you said, right?
Yeah.
So in high school, I was never in marching band. A bunch of my friends were, and I would hang out with them, and like I went to they went to the marching band like final thing in Giant Stadium, and like all the marching bands from the high schools had competitions or whatever.
Oh yeah, I was there.
But I never, when I got to know them, I was like, this is like really serious. Like the choreography, like everyone playing and moving around, and you know, I was like, this is insane. I was like,
it's really serious.
It's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's big in high school, college too, right?
Yeah, I didn't do band in college.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm a theater major.
Right.
I was like really deep into theater, but yeah, in high school, like we went to competitions. Like I actually was playing flute, and we were marching backward, and someone stepped on my toe, and I went flying back.
That's
and
dangerous.
I held my instrument to save it, and so I just cracked my head open
Oh, Jesus.
on the field because it's just like gravel, and I was like bleeding, and I'm just like,
and you kept
I'm sure
going?
It's just like a scrape, but I kept going.
Yeah, because you could screw up the whole formation,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. And then everyone's pissed at you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the bleeding. Get back in the line.
See, it's like a real sport.
No,
It's
it's like
it's
the
like football
military. It feels
almost.
like you're like the military. And you have to like salute each other.
Right.
You stand at attention.
And then they had the girls with the flags. What is that called? That's
the flag,
color guard.
color
Yeah,
guard.
they had that. Those girls doing that thing.
Those gals. You got everybody up in there.
Yeah, but so it's like high school and then college, and then it just like ends. Like there's no future for
Yeah,
it,
where do
right?
you
Like
go?
what happened? Like
Like,
why
where's
aren't
the marching band at the NFL?
why aren't adults doing that? Like why isn't there like a group that you can get like in the Pan Pacific Park and like do a routine or some
Oh, it'd be
practice?
so fun.
But like it just ends. Like there's no like, You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of work and effort, and then it's like, well, it's over. Your high school's over. So
I got out at the peak. I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. It's like, I don't see that working at like the NFL during a sports game or something.
Where they just are like playing like
Right.
they're like.
Well, that's what's different. Like when you go to like college sports, like they have the band, you know, and it's
Right.
like that's fun. Like going to like a football game or basketball game, the band is there playing music, but then that ends. Like professional sports, they don't have no band like that. You know,
What's
like
the
what is with
deal?
that?
That would be so fun.
Why didn't that carry over somehow? Like at least at like a basketball game, you know, because like they do a lot, like the cheerleaders and stuff, the band. It's a good energy. It's fun. It's different. But then, once you get to NBA, it's like, no, we're not doing that.
They're like, oh,
Yeah.
arts?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, we'll just play a.
It's interesting, like, who made that decision? You
I
know?
wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder what's. I bet there's just someone's going to be like, because
Because,
this
yeah.
Googleable
I don't
reason.
know. Yeah.
I don't know.
I got to look into that.
But yeah, it's funny because when I left high school, I was like, okay, I'm leaving band behind. I'm going to be a serious actor.
Right.
And I'm just going to act. And then it was like, well, okay, music. Okay, I'll sing. Oh, I'm really good at singing. Okay, I'll sing. And then it was like the instruments came back so many years later, like, hey, girl,
Yeah.
do you want to work? Bring us back in your life.
Right. They never go away.
They're like, us and more.
You open your closet, they're all just sitting there
They're
waiting.
like collecting dust, like, we're waiting for you. I'm like, all right, get over here.
I did play one instrument in high school because we had to take. I took band and you had to take something, and I remember I wanted to play the saxophone, but there was like already too many people playing it. There was like 5 people playing it or something. They were like, you got to pick something else, and I was like, all right. And there was flute, but I was like, I don't want to play a flute as a guy. I was like, I don't know. So I remember the only thing I could pick really was like I picked the French horn.
So hard.
Right? So
So hard.
odd too. I was like,
it's one of the hardest instruments.
I was like, why did I pick that? And it was like, it's like, and I got it. I remember when they delivered it and everything. Like it came
huge.
It
It's like
came in
this
this
big
weird
thing.
case, like
Yeah.
like a weird the one thing I was like I used to carry it to the bus and I would sit on the wait and I would sit on the case because it was like kind of shaped like a chair. So I was like, oh, that's a plus. At
You're
least
like,
there's
all
like
right, tight.
it's a portable chair. But I took I remember it was horrible. I couldn't even like the first like month I couldn't even get like a sound to come out. Like I was like,
so hard.
yeah.
You have to have like a really tight embouchure. It takes so
Yeah.
much air because like when I learned French horn, I'd already learned trumpet, tuba, and like trombone. So I was kind of like cruising through the brass.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, French horn. And I was like, oh, you're way different than the other brass. And you can make any note without even pressing any of the keys.
Yeah, there's
I'm
three.
sure you know.
There's three.
There's
right?
3
Yeah.
keys, but according to some people, like the embouchure, however your musculature
Right.
and the way you're blowing into it, you can use that pressure to make any note, even if you don't use the keys. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what the?
Interesting.
This is so hard.
Yeah, and then I also was like, why did I pick this? Because like, even if I became like pro at it or like really good, it's like I'm not gonna ever use this. Like I'm never gonna be like, hey guys, this is a band. Like you guys need a French horn. You know what I mean? Like you can't really just show up
You're
with a
not gonna
French
like
horn.
bring it into your comedy.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you could because it is kind of a funny instrument. That's like
Do
you know,
you have
rare.
one around here?
No,
'Cause
I
would
got
love for you
rid
to
of
have
it. I know. Maybe I should pick it back up.
You should pick it back up.
Yeah.
Bring it into your act. Just be like, hey, I'm Doug.
Yeah, but it's like you can never just show up at a band and be like, you guys need a French horn player. You know.
They'd be like, do you play bass or?
Yeah, no, just French horn. That's all. Yeah.
Just I call it F horn. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, F horn. Yeah. All right. So off Broadway, you were in The Little Mermaid. Is that correct?
I actually toured with the Little
Wow.
Mermaid
Wait,
and
let me guess. You were Ariel.
Sea Witch.
Sea Witch.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it
All
was
right.
like the off-brand version of the Little Mermaid. So it was
Yeah.
like Grimm's fairy tale. So I played
Oh.
like
Oh yeah. Okay. Like the real.
the real sort
Yes.
of based on that. And so I had like a giant red curly wig. I was
Mm-hmm.
in like a rickshaw. I had like a long like stick with a ribbon on it that kind of worked like as a whip. So they
Right.
just kind of wheeled me around. We didn't have a Sebastian, like a little guy. I had like a 6'2" dude in a lobster costume,
Oh wow. All right. All right.
just called Sea Creature.
Sea creature.
Yeah, we did like 100 shows in like 3 months or more. I mean, we was like daily.
That's off Broadway. You did this?
No,
Oh, you
it was on
toured. You toured.
tour.
Did touring with a show like that is crazy,
Wild.
right?
And we were doing like sometimes like 10 shows a week,
That's tiring.
and then driving everywhere. Drive somewhere, do the show, put up the set.
Yeah,
tear
I had a
down the
lot of
set.
friends that did that because I studied theater in college, but
So you know,
I didn't do musical theater. But yeah, a lot of people like ended up touring with some show or whatever and doing all the colleges and all this stuff, and they were exhausted. Yeah.
it was a lot of work. And then off Broadway, I did Volpone.
What is that?
The Ben Jonson Classic. You've never heard of it?
I've never heard of that.
No, I did the first revival in like 100 years off-Broadway with Red Bull Theater Company.
Okay.
And in this audition, they were like, it was an equity show, and I was still not in the union. But they did allow me to the audition, and they were like, because I knew the assistant director, so they were like, we need you to bring in every instrument you can carry. And
All
prepare,
16.
and prepare a classical monologue and sing. And I was like, okay. And so, they had a piano there. I dragged a guitar, a ukulele, an accordion, a flute, an oboe, God knows what else. I had like a cart, like jamming all these instruments. New York City. It's not like I have a car.
Yeah.
I just have to like Uber all this stuff in.
Oh my God.
Bring all my stuff in. I sing. I do all the stuff. And I do the monologue. I do like a monologue from Volpone. I sing. I do everything. I'm playing oboe. I'm playing oboe concertos, whatever. And then they're like, okay. They hire me for like barely any money because it's off Broadway.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, we also want you to pick up like the timpani, and then we want you to play harpsichord, accordion. I'm playing basically the pit of the show.
Wow. How do you do all that?
It was insane. It was crazy.
At the same time?
No.
Like you
no.
just
no, it'd
like,
be like, oh, for this, I'm doing like a timpani thing, and then it would be like I'd have like one line as a guard.
Oh, okay. So like the different instruments.
I'm like, I'd like be down in the pit, then I'd be like on stage for like a scene as a guard.
Okay.
And then at one point they're like, oh, Jen, can we have you like move a flat or a piece of furniture or something?
Now you're the stage hand as well.
Yeah. I go, oh, that's during my oboe solo. And they go, oh, we'll just cut the solo. I was like, okay.
Bare bones. No crew, no nothing.
Yeah, dude. I was like, okay.
That's tough.
It was like such a great experience because it was like our show got written up in the New York Times, and I was in like my first playbill, and working with all these people that have like won Tony Awards, and it felt like this really big deal.
Totally.
But it was like a total grind.
Yeah.
And then I was just like burning through my savings and like getting divorced at the end of that. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Well,
was
I remember doing
brutal.
like some of these theater productions. Like, you would do anything. Like, it's like, you got to get the show up or whatever.
Of course.
And now it's like, I don't know, the energy for that.
Yeah, I have like, not now. Like I have like, I'll work with managers and they're like, oh, do you want to do theater out here? I'm like, no.
You have no desire to do theater out here?
Not out here.
You would do it again in New York?
I would do it. I would do theater again. I would do theater out here again if it paid well, but I just don't suspect.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're like in a union show at the the
like,
whatever.
Amundsen or something.
Yeah.
And even then, like, it's not really like that spectacular of pay.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like I haven't done a play since pretty much like a proper play since college. Yeah, really. I did one play out here when I first moved here, but it was like someone wrote like a one act and I just did it,
Yeah.
But I don't even remember what it was. But I used to do a lot of plays, and now it's like it's been like 23 years since I've done a play as an actor, and I'm like, part of me is like questioning myself. It's like, wow, I wonder if I would do that again, or like if I knew how. Like I don't.
You would know how.
You would know how, but it's like, that muscle memory's there, but it's like. Yeah, it's like auditioning for something or like trying to get a part in something. Like it would be fun to kind of dive back into that after all these years, but at the same time, it's like it's a little scary too. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. I was just thinking about that today. I was like, wow, that like equity show that I did, the Volpone show, was the last play I did.
Yeah,
it was the last one.
Yeah,
because it was like as soon as I joined the union and I like lost all of my money basically because they can't afford really to pay.
Right.
And then I'm like, wow, I can't really afford to do this.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't think this is like I auditioned.
Well, yeah. How do you make a living off?
Yeah, and then I like auditioned for Broadway for The Great Comet. I got really close to getting in it because they just wanted an accordion player in the chorus.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
And I was like, yes. I was like, this is it. I know people that are involved in the production.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be the thing. And I auditioned, and I didn't get it. And I asked a buddy of mine, I was like, can you give me some feedback? Because he was in the room. And he goes, you were great. The accordion playing was great. He's like, they just wound up casting a guy.
Oh, all right.
And that made me be like, I'm never going to make it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
because you start to be like, well, how often are they going to need an accordion player,
right,
first of all?
that's rare.
And then I can sing, but I go, if this was like a comedy, I would have booked it.
Sure, yeah.
But it hadn't, it's not funny.
Yeah.
It's a great show. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's not funny. And I was like, starting to do more stuff at UCB and do more comedy, and I was like, I think started writing. I was like, I think I'm done with New York for now.
Because I think Broadway's changed a lot like over the years, like now, and it's like, first of all, like every movie now is a musical version of it that they capitalize on the franchise or whatever.
Yeah.
And then also it's celebrities are in these Broadway plays now. Like it's not even like just an actor that's good, like they cast names.
Oh,
because they got to sell these tickets.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll have some movie star who's never really done theater starring in whatever fucking show there is.
Totally.
And that's crazy. Like as an actor, I'm like, like they just get to do that. They don't have any like theater training. Maybe. I mean, most of them do, but like there's always like a one wild card that gets thrown in there or something. Yeah.
For sure. And I think I was thinking about that too when I left New York. I was like, well, New York's always going to be here. If I ever wanted to come back to do something, I could. But why don't I just go to LA and try to become a B-list celebrity so I can just come back and be on Broadway without trying, right?
It's like reality star. I could do Broadway play now.
They'll be like, oh my God,
I know.
it's Survivor's Jen Liv.
Hey, I mean, sad to say, that's almost what it takes now, is being on a reality show or a TikTok star or
They'll
whatever.
just be like, she's starring in A Doll's House.
Yeah,
by
right.
Henrik Ibsen.
You imagine, TikTok star is like Doll's House, or Our Town or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, like little, oh my God.
And then they'll be surprised because like, oh my God, you could act. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Shakespeare,
Sure.
Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah, I studied it.
Hamlet, whatever. And so then you start doing UCB out here.
I started in New York.
New York,
and
okay.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of started writing a pilot, and I like came to a wedding out here, and I was like, oh my God, I love LA. Even though I was like such a New Yorker, I was
Right.
like, I'll never live in LA, and I was like, it's kind of great.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it is great. Because I'm from New Jersey originally.
Yeah, you know.
And I grew up like 20 minutes from Manhattan, and I never lived there though. I always regretted not living there. Growing up, going in there all the time. But then I always knew I wanted to move out here.
Yeah.
And then I got an internship like right out of college, and then I got a job there, and I just stayed. I never went back. Like, so I was like, and all my friends did the 1 or 2 or 3 years in New York, and then came out here.
Oh, so they're like, we've done it. We've done the whole.
So
New
they
York
did
thing.
that, and I was like already here, so like I missed that. Like I didn't take that 1 or 2 year in New York thing. You're right.
Oh yeah, I thought I just
Oh,
unplugged, but
all right.
we're back. I'm good.
So yeah, I missed out on like living in New York, and now,
Yeah.
and I mean, I guess I could still do it, but it's like it seems so
Yeah.
exhausting.
It's
now.
so exhausting.
Yeah.
It's like even going back now, because we go back a couple of times a year, and I try to produce a show when I'm there. And like the first time I met my partner's family, like I was like, why don't I just be a normal person and just go meet your family? I also have to produce a comedy show while I'm here.
Right,
Like, I'm
I know.
insane.
Well, that's what happens now too. It's like if I travel somewhere, I'm like, well, I should do stand up or try to bring my show to whatever city I'm going to,
Yeah.
And it's like you're combining like vacations and performing and stuff like that. So yeah, like there's sometimes where I'm like, I just want to go away and not do this shit,
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely am like, I'll just cram in a show. And
Right.
then I was like, I guess I'm getting old because I'm like carrying an accordion, a ukulele, a tripod.
yeah,
I'm like on the
it'll
train.
tire you out.
I'm like, I miss my car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I just miss like driving somewhere and then it's
I
there
know.
and then you just can go out for a drink. Nobody goes out for drinks here, but sometimes
No.
people go out for drinks occasionally.
Right. Sometimes. Yeah.
You know?
So UCB, you did that New York and here.
Yeah.
Did you do like a house team or
I
any of
did.
that stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Once I kind of I did like part of the program there. I finished it up here. And then of course they're like, you should do musical improv. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm a purist. And then I did.
Yeah.
And then I was really good at it. And they're like, well, you studied music. Like other people would be intimidated because I sang for forever.
Right.
And I'm like, can't everyone just do this? And they're like, no.
No.
So I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm still like wrapping my head around the fact that I'm like, I have talent. Because in New York, it just like felt like beating my head up against a wall for like 10 years.
Well, there's not.
nothing
Yeah.
happened.
There's musical theater people here, but like not as many as New York.
Yeah. And so
it's like-
then it was so, sweet that I was so honored I got picked to like actually get to be on a team and do like fully like improvised musicals. It
No,
was
that's cool.
really
UCB's
special.
cool. I mean,
It was really
I'm
fun.
glad it's back. Like I only took one class there. I did Groundlings instead of UCB.
I gotta go. I can't with this. I'm just kidding.
I know. Well, look, I wish I had done both at the same time, but I only
Yeah.
took one class at UCB. Groundlings was fine, but like I don't know, like it helped with the improvisation and then transitioning into stand up and stuff. But like, yeah, like all the sketch, like all the characters with the wigs and stuff like that. It was like,
Fun. I really wanted to do the Groundlings too, but
Yeah.
I kind of ran out of money. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
they were
okay, well,
expensive,
I
yeah.
gave UCB all of my money.
yeah, I
so.
gave Groundlings all my money, and then they kick you out, and it's like,
Yeah,
all right.
and then you're just on the street cold. I have a lot of friends. You get up to like whatever track or whatever.
Oh my god, I did
lab.
all the things. I did advanced, and I was with all my friends, like a couple of friends from high school, and like all the friends I made through Groundlings. I did up until advanced, and then you either got into Sunday Company or didn't, and then like all my friends got into Sunday Company, and I didn't.
No.
So they kicked me out, and then like all my friends were like, all so excited about doing it. And then I was like, I don't have anything to do with this place anymore. I was like, fuck this. So like I didn't talk to a lot of my friends for like a year almost because like I mean, it was too painful. So I went back to like filmmaking and like made a web series and all this shit. But then I started doing stand up. But yeah, it was weird. It was like oh man, I felt like I was in high school again or something.
Totally.
You got like kicked out of the club or whatever. You know?
I've had a lot of friends that happen too. Where they're trying to do the thing, and then some people make it, some don't, and the people that don't make it are like, what? And
it was funny. Like once they did like maybe 6 months of Sunday. Some people did a year or whatever, and then they started kicking them out. And then like they'd come back.
They come around.
Then they'd be like the same, like, yeah, fuck, I don't know why the fuck, you know, like, and it was like, hey, welcome back. I was like,
you're like, welcome back to reality.
Yeah. But it was kind of funny how like everyone, they were just like, oh, Groundlings, fuck that.
I know. That's the only reason I like, because I like the idea of doing characters. I do a lot of characters. I'm like, I think I would like align with that. It'll be fun.
It's fun to jump in every now and then.
It'll be fun. So I like auditioned last year just to like, pass up the like basic thing. And I'm just, every time I look at taking a class, I'm like, $500. Oh
I know.
And it's probably $550.
It's probably gone up since
it
then.
keeps just going up. I'm like,
I was thankful that I got through the whole program in like 3 years.
That's good.
I did the whole thing in 3 years.
Really good.
Where I know people that like stretched like, it was like 7 years. They're still waiting to take the thing or whatever, and it's like, I want to get this done with, and it either works or it doesn't, or you take what you can out of it and move on, So yeah, that was my improv sketch life.
Yeah, I did kind of the same thing. Like as soon as I finished my run, I did a 6-month run on a house team, and that's kind of it for musical. You hit your 6 months, that's it.
Yeah,
you're like at the ceiling of UCB.
Right.
There's nowhere else to go
unless you become like a name or whatever.
Unless they just are like, we'll allow you to be a guest.
Yeah,
which I was like one time on one of their other teams, but it was just that's it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and I was like, oh. There was like nothing to do with improv.
Yeah. So
my whole life kind of shifted, and I started doing stand-up during COVID.
Oh, really?
On Zoom.
Oh, okay. The Zoom shows.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had never done it before, but like basically I was supposed to be in a class that I was like, okay, I'll just try stand-up. And the class was going to start, March 15th, 2020 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't start. So I was like, well, do you want to just get together and write on Zoom? I guess we could just write. So we did. We wrote a bunch of stuff.
That's what everyone did, yeah. And those Zoom shows were interesting.
They were crazy.
I mean, I think it would work well for you and your music, though, because people could enjoy that.
People enjoyed the music, but it was like very surreal doing stand-up on Zoom because it would be like,
it was so
Are you guys there? Is it frozen?
It was so weird.
Am I bombing? Am I bombing?
You'd see people like in the living room, like gathered around the computer.
Oh, yeah. or people that just like don't really have like a lot of awareness.
No.
Like with the thing unmuted, and they're like in the kitchen banging around, or they're just like falling asleep on camera.
I remember I got a corporate gig during COVID on Zoom or whatever their Zoom software was that this company was using or whatever. It was the weirdest thing. It was like it paid like $800, and
you were like, sweet.
I was like, great, and they wanted like. I had the dog business. So I did a lot of dog comedy, and then whatever. I added some more stuff. I was supposed to do like 20 minutes or whatever, or half hour or whatever. Yeah. And I remember doing it, and like this was weird because like Zoom, you could at least see the people or whatever. This one was like it was like a website, and like I had my camera on, and there was a thing that said like, okay, you're live now. You have
no idea what you're doing.
And I would just like perform like to the camera and be like, hey guys, I'm Doug, and then I'd go into my material or whatever. And all I saw was like, you didn't see anyone. Like, so people were watching this, but like, you don't see them at all. And like, and there was a chat, and like, someone would be like, ha ha ha, like typing, like LOL, like, and I was like, I'd be like, oh, thanks for that laugh, or what? It was so weird.
Oh,
like, there was so I just like literally like practiced my set or whatever. And then at the end, I'd be like, all right, and that was it. They paid me. And it was so, I don't even know like who watched it. I never saw a reaction, and nothing. It was so crazy.
Wild. Because you're just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
To nobody.
Yeah, it was so weird. I don't know. But I was like, I'll take the money, whatever. Yeah.
Alyssa and I did a show during COVID that we call Mozza Mealtime, where we just had like iconic people that have worked at Mozza, Chef Nancy Silverton, other people on the show.
Right.
We did it like on Facebook Live.
Okay.
So we can't hear anything, but you get the chat.
Yeah.
Where it's like LOL.
Right.
We're just doing it. We can't hear anything.
No. Yeah, you have no idea.
It's so weird.
It's weird, yeah.
But it was really fun. I mean, it was just kind of like, we were,
That was a time to remember that hopefully we don't have to experience again.
No more of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the Basshole Show. So if you have an asshole story you want to share with us, the audience, let us know. Something that you might have done that was asshole-ish that you want to share with the crowd.
Little old me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the nicest person out there. Yeah.
I've got so many. Where do I begin? No, I was thinking about it, and so I have this one person who will often ask me for a ride home, and they're really out of my way. And I've told them, like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I really don't want to do it. And it's like the end of the night, exhausted from work and stuff. But the neighborhood where I work is not always that safe, so it's better to like leave in pairs, just in case, to be safe. Hollywood, whatever. But one night I was like, oh no, it's just the two of us leaving. And if I get a walk to my car, he's going to ask for a ride, and then I'm going to feel obligated. So I was like, I'm just going to risk it with my mace.
Yeah.
But I have to hurry.
Go solo.
And it was like kind of a long walk.
Right. Before he didn't see you leave or
exactly.
whatever. Yeah, okay.
Because he was like upstairs changing, whatever. So I was like, all right, Jen, you gotta get out of here. You gotta race for your life, basically. I'd rather just like put my life up at risk rather than
drive this person
than just give this person
town.
like 20 minutes, each way out of my way, whatever. So I'm like, I got to get out of here. And then I like see a Lime scooter and I'm like, yes, a Lime, because I've never taken one ever.
Okay.
So I know he's coming and I'm like trying to download the app quick and like beep, and the credit card set up and I'm like looking and it's like I'm sweating and I feel like he's like coming down. I'm like trying to set it up and I like have never used it, but I'm like, okay, at least if someone's going to shoot at me, like I'll be like a moving target a little faster.
Yeah.
I get on the Lime and it's like, I like can't really totally get it started. I have all these heavy bags on from work, so I'm just like, like dragging this scooter down the road. And then he comes around the corner. He's like, hey, do you need help? And I'm like, no, I do this a lot. I got it. And I'm just like, and I drag this stupid scooter down the block, like 2 long blocks, like pretending to ride it.
Pretending to ride
like
it?
I couldn't really like fully get it going.
Okay, because you got to park far away.
Yeah, I park like 2 long blocks away.
Right, okay.
And so I like get all the way, like maybe the last like half of a block, it finally like kicked in or whatever. And it's like, vroom, 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 and then it's just like done.
Yeah.
And then it's like a $7 charge. And I was like, what?
I know. Yeah.
So it's like this charge, my shoulder, my arms, I'm like dragging it.
He's like, he's just like, you don't know how to ride a scooter at all. What's wrong with you?
He's like, do you need help? I'm like, good night. I'm like, you got your lift? Okay.
You're just avoiding this guy.
I'm such a piece of shit. I suck so bad. I felt like
I mean, that's funny though that you went through all that trouble to fake ride a scooter, like just to get out of like either talking to this person or driving him.
I feel bad, and he's not a bad guy. At the time I was just like, I can't.
But if you told him in the past, like, I can't give you a ride, it's the opposite way.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get it.
I think he gets it, but I always just feel like a looming pressure there.
Yeah.
Like, can you just?
I don't understand that with people. It's like
no.
Well, first of all, it's like we live in LA, so like the city. It's like, yeah, if I live south of here and you live south of here,
great,
before my place or whatever, great, I'll drop you off.
I have no problem with that,
Right.
and I did tell him that. Like, I'll drop you if it's like on my way home.
Right.
It's no problem.
But if you live north or like west or whatever, it's like, why would I drive 20 minutes and then come back? And you know what I mean?
It's just like after a long night, you're already tired. It's like tagging on extra like
it's far.
40 minutes.
It's far.
Even if it's like 35 minutes, it just is like so far out of the way.
I don't understand why someone wouldn't understand that.
And I know. I mean, look, when I didn't have a car, I never asked people for rides.
Right.
Although I will say, people gave me rides all the time. Because they're like, what are you doing?
Right.
Come with me. And I was like, are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Let me buy your gas. Let me, give back in some way. Because I just sort of was like, well, I guess I just Uber now.
But I've had people be like, hey, you like, there was someone that I worked with that was like, hey, can you drive into North Hollywood, like the Valley? And I'm like,
the Valley?
I live in West Hollywood. Like, why would I fucking go to the Valley to drop you off? You know what I mean?
The Valley?
Yeah, like the balls on some of these people. I'm just like, what are you, nuts?
The Valley?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely not.
What are you talking about?
No, exactly.
And I'm like such a people pleaser.
I
I'm
know,
always like,
but it's like then the people start taking advantage.
in
of
the
you,
beginning, it's like, no, I'm
right.
I'm not. I might have somewhere to. I'm. And then eventually, I'm like, I just can't. I'm sorry. And then I feel like the pressure because I'm like, I feel like the question's coming, even though he knows and I know, and I'm like, I'm just gonna risk it. I'm just gonna drag this scooter,
Yeah.
like an idiot down the block.
No, I mean that's funny though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yes, I think you're a little bit of an asshole, but like,
For sure.
but you're definitely, yeah. I mean, if this guy's asking for a ride, he's an asshole too a little bit because it's like, have some common sense, That's funny though. I love that. Just we do things to like avoid situations that are awkward all the time.
Like work 70 hours a week.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. Yeah, I know. And then we question it later, like, what are we doing with our lives? Yeah. That's so funny though. It's interesting. All right, yeah, definitely an asshole story. Yeah, for sure. Do you get compared to Ellie Kemper at all?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I
was
get
gonna
it
say
a lot.
that. Like, have you guys ever like auditioned for the same stuff?
So one time in New York, I went to an acting studio for like first time taking class.
Yeah.
And I go to sign in and the guy goes, oh, it's you. And I go, yeah. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I sign in and he's like, oh. Because he like genuinely thought I was Ellie Kemper. Like,
and then he read your name.
He was like, oh, like so disappointed. But that's the closest we've come to meeting was just one time.
Just one time.
Someone at a studio thought I was her. And I was like, did not catch it at first.
That's funny though. Yeah.
But yeah, no, she and I think we have probably friends in common.
Oh yeah,
Because
probably
she came
through,
up through
UCB,
New York,
right?
through the Pit, I think.
Oh, the Pit.
She
Okay.
did a lot of stuff at the Pit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was a UCB gal. And
Right.
we got friends. We got friends in common.
Yeah, they cross paths. I'm sure. Yeah.
We'll see each other someday.
Yeah, you'll run into each other.
I'll be like, can we
work together as
be twins?
sisters or
How do
whatever?
I be your sister? How do I work with you forever? You're the
See,
best.
that would be like a good show, like you and her, like on
Right?
a sitcom or something.
Yeah.
Sisters.
I'll
I don't
play
know.
accordion.
You play accordion. Yep.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course.
Yeah, and then there's also the Allison Hannigan, or is that her name
Yeah,
from
yeah.
American Pie,
Yes.
the band girl?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also, what's her name? Vanessa Bayer, I get too.
Oh yeah, from SNL.
From SNL.
Yep.
and, I love that for you. So even Maxie Whitetrick was like, saw a big poster of I love that for you.
Oh, she was just here,
And-
Maxie.
Oh, I love her so
Yeah.
much. And she goes, I saw that and I thought of you like, oh, she finally made it. Good for her.
Right.
Not like she finally made it. She goes like, of course. Like, yeah.
Right.
Like that's the way it was like such a nice compliment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not me. And thank you so much for thinking I'd be on a billboard. I love it. It's the dream.
One day,
day,
you're
yeah,
gonna
it's
have,
coming up
you're gonna
this
have
year.
your musical sitcom, or
My
whatever.
big sitcom,
Yeah.
musical or otherwise.
Accordion and Me, or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like just like the girl with the accordion. That's like
Yeah.
emotional support accordion.
You have like a bunch of kids. You teach them all music. Whatever.
It's in there.
It's like Sound of Music meets sitcom. I don't know.
Okay, let's riff on this. Okay,
Yeah.
let's pitch this.
Yeah,
Let's
I
pitch
think
this.
it's a good show. It would be a good show. Why not? I mean, there's so much crap on streaming and TV now. It's like, you gotta. Have you written yourself like a show?
I've
idea?
written a couple of shows. Yeah, just like when I was in New York, I wrote one called Airbnb Beyond, where I was like based loosely on the time where I was like living in Harlem and like Airbnb being out the other bedroom
Okay.
in my apartment, which was psychotic.
Was it?
Oh, it was crazy.
I mean, in New York, and Harlem. Yeah.
Crazy, and you meet the craziest.
So you had a
people.
2-bedroom and
One
you,
bath.
2-bedroom, 1 bath, and you had an extra room, and you put it on Airbnb.
Yeah.
And what kind of people would you get? Like, did you screen them? Like, or you just were like?
I will say the people through Airbnb were actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
All the time. One time I had a couple that was like definitely like cheating on their spouses because they were like, "We're here for a business getaway,"
Sleepover.
right? And then they dressed in business outfits too. They had like
God.
suits on, and then they just like closed the door and started fucking for like 10 hours.
Wow.
And then he came out with like a bottle of warm rosé, and he's like, "Want some rosé?" And he's like in his underwear. I'm like, "Nope, no, I'm good, thank you."
Oh my God. See, that's so weird. Like, I don't know. Like, if I've stayed at a couple Airbnbs, and like, I think I've only stayed at one with my ex-wife in Santa Barbara where it was like someone's house, and like we rented like the
back house or something?
No, it was like there was a room like in their house.
Yeah.
Like probably like your extra bedroom or
Yeah.
whatever. But I've only done that once. Otherwise, I've had like my own private apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
But you would think like that couple, like, hey, we are going over to somewhere to fuck. It's like, why wouldn't you just get your own place? Like,
why would
you?
they just?
Yeah.
Because of mine was so cheap, probably,
Right,
and
right. And
they're
they're
like
like-
hiding it.
They're only gonna
from
be there
their
a few hours,
partners
yeah.
and blah blah whatever. I was like, oh my god,
That's funny.
that was the worst one. And
Yeah.
then I like subletted it for like a month to someone through like gypsy housing or something.
gypsy
And
housing.
his name was Gleb, and he was a Russian dude, and I was like just be tidy. And this thing, I will be tidy and blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And he was so disgusting.
Oh my God.
He was like throwing fruit, bananas, and like half-eaten fruit like in the bathroom garbage, and then taking a shower and like leaving the door shut. So like you'd open it, just be like a mass of fruit flies, like mold. And I'm like, Gleb, I'm like, you have to like throw the garbage away, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
And he'd just be like, oh, I'm sorry. And it was like always so hard for me to bring it up because I'm so nice. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
can you
please
not do that?
get rid of this shit?
And then he would like cook chicken, but like not like
that's
some
the
of it
worst.
wouldn't get cooked, and there would be like raw chicken in a pan, and he'd like
Yeah.
leave it under the sink, like rotting, and then there'd be like
man.
maggots, and I'd be like, Gleb, you're ruining my pans with maggots and
Right.
like raw chicken. And then like the bedroom, like basically I was like, hey, you have to be out by the 1st.
Right. And he was there
because-
all month.
Yeah, and he
Whatever.
like, I'm like, just make sure you have a place to go because I have Airbnb guests
Mhm.
checking in, which was a lie. I just had to
Yeah,
get him
whatever.
out, right? And so he's like, oh, okay. And then the day he was supposed to move out, I like creak open the door. He's gone. And there's just garbage. It's disgusting. It's so gross. So I,
You
like,
charge him a cleaning fee. And all
of
that.
course, I
Yeah,
charged
yeah.
him psycho, and then he came and like literally just, I was like, you have to go. You have to put everything in trash bags and get out.
Right.
And he did, and it was like the sheets were like so
Ugh.
like stained like brown.
Oh, you have
like,
to like throw him out.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
burned everything.
Burn-
He ruined literally every single towel, every single piece of bedding.
Oh,
It was
God,
just
that's
so
the worst.
dirty. I was like,
Ugh.
Gleb.
So this is like a pilot idea, like off of your Airbnb nightmare experiences.
off of the nightmares,
Yeah,
but also
that's
you
funny,
know
though,
a little
yeah.
love story in there. You,
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
like a new co-star every week.
I think isn't there a reality show like Airbnb Nightmares or something? I
Oh
don't
well,
know.
I missed the boat
I
on
don't-
that
I
one.
don't know, but that's horrible. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I remember like roommate. Like I had a room, and just like the other thing was like they'd cook like fish or something that stinks, and like the whole house smells like that for a week or whatever.
So bad.
I know, but there's something about like if you decide to cook fish or whatever, and then you come home and it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't bother me as much
You're like, I made it.
because I wanted to eat this or whatever, you know. But like
Exactly.
when someone else cooks like you're like, oh, how dare they? Oh God, like
It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Even I feel bad sometimes when I make fish at home. I'm
Right.
like, sorry, honey.
yeah, exactly.
Just like trying to blow a fan, get some incense,
stinks, yeah.
get some air
Oh my
going in
God.
there.
That's funny though. I love that. I love that idea though for you, the TV show. It's a good idea. Airbnb. Never again.
Starring
Never.
me and Vanessa Bayer.
Yeah,
Let's go.
exactly. And the Russian guy.
And the Russian Gleb. Like, what a
Gleb.
name.
What was it? Did you say that there was gypsy housing? Is that a
Oh, yeah.
is that a
so it's this
website?
thing.
I mean, I don't even know if we use gypsy anymore, but
I'm sorry. That's,
don't
Romany housing.
yeah, roaming housing. Yeah.
No, it's this website through Facebook where
Oh.
basically actors who are, gypsies
Okay.
are just like, hey, I'm away doing a gig. My room's available. Does
Yeah, I
anyone
did-
want to sublet it for a month? Or
I did
whatever.
couchsurfing.com once. You ever
How
do
was
that?
that? No.
I did that in Europe. That's like kind of probably the same thing where like you can stay on someone's couch somewhere for free.
Whoa.
Or like for 20 euro or something, something
way.
cheap, and everyone has a profile. You read it, you chat, whatever. I did that one night. I stayed on someone's like futon or something like that, and it wasn't bad. Like they actually were like they were like making like dinner. Like they're like, you want food?
That's so nice.
So I think you can like find people that like want to show you around and stuff. I only did one night, but like if you stayed like a week or whatever, like they probably would show you around and cook for you or whatever.
Dang.
But I'm on there. I'm still on there, so I have people hit me up all the time for
They're
like.
like, can I stay on your couch?
They're like, can we stay in West Hollywood?
You're
like,
no.
it's not a good time. I mean, I don't answer anymore. But like, I did entertain the idea at one point. It's like, oh, maybe I can have someone stay on the couch. But then it's me and my boyfriend, and it's like, no, fuck it. It's like,
No,
too old for this shit.
It's like, you want some rosé? You're like, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
Good buds.
I don't know. All right. Well, this has been great, Jen. What do you have coming up? Do you have shows coming up?
Oh, yes, I do actually, and I
Yeah.
wish I was ready to promote them. But
Okay.
I do have a show coming up at the West Side Comedy Theater.
Oh yeah. All right.
With Ryan DiNardo, we're doing like a big musical show. I believe it's on November 11th.
All right. Cool.
I'm doing kind of a long set on there, and got Variety Pack coming up in the next several months, and just getting out there doing my thing. I'm just trying so hard to be seen when I'm not at work.
Yeah. Right. And then balancing. Do you work nights a lot? Like
I work everything.
Yeah.
I work days and nights, and so I think I'm gonna just be trimming back the work schedule
Right.
going forward.
because
and
it's
just
hard to
doing
do.
more
It's hard to do
comedy.
comedy when you're like serving at a restaurant or the concierge. It's like, yeah, it's like the nights take up time, and that's when the shows are.
I need to get a dog walking business, I guess.
You know, I mean, it's not all it's cracked up to be. I mean, I've been doing it like 18 years, so it's fine, but it's like it's also tired. It's like, you know, it's the same
Get your
thing.
exercise.
I'm tired.
You get to hang out with man's best friend.
I know. There's days where I'm like, oh, this is great, and then days I'm like, oh, I'd rather work in a hotel.
You're like, I just want to just not. Do
Yeah,
this
it's like
right
the
now.
hustle. The hustle's real with that, you know. It's like
Yeah.
it's always finding new clients, all that shit, you know.
Yeah.
But this is what we do.
This is what we do. That's if I wasn't hustling, I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Exactly.
If I have unexpected time off, I freak out. I'm like,
I know.
if there's not like a show or
Right.
a gig
Not
or a
doing
mic
something,
or
yeah.
I'm not like writing or doing something, I'm just like free time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's like panic. I can't take it.
I know. I can do like 2 or 3 days of like nothing, and then I'm like, all right, I gotta get, something has to happen.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
I know.
For me, it's like an hour of scrolling, and then I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. No, I get like that too. It's like I don't even watch TV anymore. I'm like, I'll put it on, and then I like come back over here and I start working on like stuff, and I'm like, oh, I meant to watch that show, but I
was
forgot.
trying to watch something.
Yeah, and then I immediately was like, oh, I have to edit this thing, and then I just fucking don't pay attention.
You're like,
to
it's
the show.
fine. It's fine. Who needs work? Work,
Exactly.
work, whatever.
I know. All right. Well, this has been great. Thank you for
Yay.
coming
Thanks
in.
for having me.
Thank you for sharing your asshole story. Even though you're not an asshole, you're very nice, and
Thank
we always
you.
love having you on the shows and stuff like that. Catch Jen Liv live in LA. She's going to be at the West Side Theater sometime in November. Follow her on Instagram at It's Jen Liv. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct. All right. Well, Jen, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Guys, remember to follow the show on Instagram at Basshole Show. Subscribe on YouTube. And remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. Ciao.
You've been listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. Follow us on Instagram at Basshole Show. Think you deserve to be on the show? Email us at contact@bassholeshow.com and visit our website at www.bassholeshow.com and get the latest information. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast fix. And don't miss the full videos on YouTube. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. We'll see you next time.